coal that provides foreign exchange for Ghana's oil requirements, and he sees an opportunity when GMPC Investment Advisors and Trustees Merchant Bank proposed a transaction with Valley Farms. GNPC guarantees a loan from Caisse Centrale, the French aid agency for the production of cocoa by Valley Farms on a divested cocoa board plantation which had high-grade cocoa. This move helped GMPC financing for oil imports. The Attorney General in the Supreme Court said the state was not questioning the viability of the project. So where is the loss? It is only 6 months to the end of term of the MPP government, and President Kufuor's wishes have been fulfilled. He gloats over Tsatsu's imprisonment in a rally speech at Medina, Accra. A spontaneous campaign to free Tsatsu begins with membership from all over the country and abroad.
When the government of the New Patriotic Party first came to power, it was in 2001, you remember J.H. Mensah? He stood on a political platform and stated that by the time they finished with their opponents, the NDC would not be standing. Presumably, he had in mind jailing them. B.A. Mensah, the businessman, a close associate of the president, did an article in the Chronicle where he stated that it was time to touch the untouchables. And one of the untouchables that he specifically mentioned was Tsatsu Tsikata.
He has served this country with great sacrifice, and he has served this country with great effectiveness. If Ghana today is about to become an oil-producing country, it is largely due to the work that Tsatsu Tsikata did in GMPC.
Adientia enisi yenua Tsatsu Tsikata de fiase sima baakupo enise onwia obi adama enwia obi atepu onfa obi asika yenua Tsatsu Tsikata onye krofo ena onye wagadre oye omamba pa waye adwuma se ne be ya Ghana mani na betumpon enunti eniese.
The case was heard and treated by a competent court, not in the sense of a legally competent court, but a professionally competent institution. That it was done by an impartial body and done in a manifestly impartial manner. Those two are the conditions for saying once you've been to court, you can't complain. If you are absent, you haven't been to court. You may be to a kangaroo court, but not a court. A commentator in the Legon Observer, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that document, described this as, and I quote, quite amazing and fundamental errors. And I would be embarrassed if I was a professional and had this comment made about me. Luckily for us, this particular matter is still before the Supreme Court, and it is entirely possible that they will correct the error.
What the Bible in Exodus 3:19, which is Tsatsu's response to my answer, whether he was optimistic and whether we should be optimistic about his freedom and his release, is as follows. Unless a mighty hand forces the king of Egypt, he doesn't think he's going to come out of prison. That's the answer that I got from Tsatsu himself through the Bible. But I'd like to add the verse that follows. He didn't quote that, but I want to add that verse. That verse says that, so I will raise my hand and strike the Egyptians, performing all kinds of miracles among them. Then at last, he will let you go. I yearn for that day when God will let Tsatsu go. And I'd like the word to go out to him that many of us here will be there ready and waiting for him. And we think it will be sooner than later to celebrate, that release with.
Tsatsu has sacrificed his life for our dear nation. Tsatsu has demonstrated that you can engage in public service without looting state coffers, without getting corrupted, without amassing wealth. And yet, how do we repay him? for these sacrifices that he has made.
Tsatsu has no business being there. When people like Tsatsu, are put in a place like this, that should tell you the nature of the government. That should tell you the nature of Kufuor and his people, of Nana Akufo-Addo, etc.
There aren't that many people who live by our national anthem. As soon as you start talking about the truth in Tsatsu Tsikata's case, it is given all sorts of colors. Thank you for being bold to defend the cause of freedom and of right. Remember, God is watching. God is watching. Thank you very much.
Members are unrelenting in their pursuit for justice for Tsikata and his release. Free Tsatsu now is their passionate cry. In 2001, soon after coming into power, the NPP announced its plan to wipe out the NDC through criminal prosecutions. Nana Akufo-Addo, President Kufuor's first Attorney General, becomes the executor of the agenda. Judges, his accomplices, and the courts, his vehicle. Akufo-Addo, who professes to be a human rights lawyer, charges Tsatsu Tsikata with a law that came into force years after the purported crime, contrary to the Constitution of Ghana. He first sends Tsikata to a fast-track court. The summons is in the name of the president. Tsikata takes the matter to the Supreme Court. He argues that the fast-track High Court was not lawfully constituted under the Constitution of Ghana. The summons in the name of the president is also contrary to the tenets of the Constitution. Justice is not supposed to be administered in the name of the president. It is to be administered in the name of the people by a judiciary independent of the executive. Nana Akufo-Addo is stunned. President Kufuor from faraway Australia announces his determination to have the decision reversed. The NPP is upset, and Akufo-Addo and a number of cabinet ministers, including Osafo Mafo, then finance minister, hold a press conference to denounce the Supreme Court decision. For President Kufuor, Akufo-Addo, and the NPP, Tsikata must go to jail by hook or by crook. The first thing the president does on return to Ghana from Australia is to appoint a new Supreme Court judge for a review of the Supreme Court decision. Meanwhile, Tsikata is brought before the normal High